Okay, so it is Wednesday, July 29, and I want to just start recording again my trades. My prayer, my goal, what I am a seven-figure day trader. And one of the things that seven-figure day traders do is journal their trades and are vocal about what they are doing right, what they are doing wrong, ways to improve, etc. And in manifesting that person that I am, I want to do the same. So I am simply just going to jump into the trades that I took yesterday for New York session and yesterday for Asia session. Some of the things that I did and what I'm going to do differently for today. Okay, let me share. Awesome. So as you can see here, I am on MNQ1 NASDAQ and ultimately, or not really ultimately, what I want to do is just share my trades and kind of what I did. It looks like chicken scratch right now, but it will make sense as I head around with this. So a little bit of back test for me and for whoever sees this is that I have been trading for a year and a half and it's been a very bumpy ride. I know how powerful trading can be when it's done consistently, when it's done, yeah, when you execute a system. So I've been kind of bouncing from system to system, not really executing the way I should, impulsively trading, letting emotion roll me, all that stuff. And I'm trying to challenge that because I am a seven-figure day trader. That is who I am. I'm going to get there. So I want to just kind of, nip those bad habits in the bud and say we're not going to do that anymore. Okay, so I took this trade here. These zones, by the way, these gray zones are my 4 hour zones that I saw that there is support resistance happening around them. So I like to to measure those, or not measure those, but draw those out. And the first one I took was this trade here. I'm going to just expand it a bit. And I'm on the 5 minutes. That's what I like to usually look at for trades. So this was a bad trade. Let me just say that. For R&R, I had entered here after seeing this. I was like, well, prices, going down. If anything, I probably could have entered here as price, kind of made this as support and take it down here, but it was 935. And for some reason, I was scared to take it at market open. But this could have been a good trade. It broke out of this zone. It hit here. It went all the way down to this zone. So literally resistance, entry, went all the way down. Okay. I at this point was like, okay, I'm nervous now. Is it still going to continue going down? I entered on this 5 minute entry candle or closure candle. If you look at that candle, it was just wicky on the top, wicky on the bottom. Not a good entry candle. And price ultimately came to this resistance, the support zone, and said, I don't know about that, and started making its way back up. Now, I don't necessarily trade support and resistance, but this could have been a support and resistance trade where I had taken this trade probably here after break of structure and taken it here up to here. Like here, that could have been a trade, but I ended up taking it up. I didn't take this trade actually. I was just looking at it as a potential return to VWAP trade where I would exit at this area and price resisted here. Now, what is before I kind of continue, what system am I trading? So I really depend on the VWAP as one of the trading indicators that I have. And I had written down my steps here. And I don't know what happened. Oh, they're there. Okay, cool. Okay, so these are my steps, what I'm trying to be consistently trading. Steps. One, identify the 1 hour and 4 hour zones where price touches the most, which I've made these zones here. Where is price in relation to zones? Near support or resistance or middle? So yes, I suppose I do technically trade support and resistance when it's in accordance with the trend. Where is price in relation to EMAs and VWAP? So if price is above the EMAs and VWAP, we're looking for buys after it's, past zones and such and retested certain key levels. Price below, we do sells. Has direction been confirmed in the 15 minutes? Look at the 15-minute market structure and price in relation to EMA. So I noticed a lot of times that in the 1 minute, the lower time frames, you think a trend is the trend, and yes, you can have trends within trends, etc. But when we're looking for trying to avoid fake outs, at least for me, I feel like the 15 minutes has helped a lot to help me with that. Entry now for buys is bullish. For buys, what is that right? For buys is bullish FVG acting as support and confirm bullish trend direction. So yes. So something else to mention is 15-minute FVGs are pretty strong fellows. And for buys, I would like to always enter in on a strong bullish candle closure on the 3 minutes or 5 minutes in most cases that is bouncing off a 15-minute FVG for a buy, in accordance with VWAP and the EMAs. Same thing for sells is bearish FVG acting as resistance and confirmed bearish direction. So let me take that out. So that's the question I'm asking myself. And if so, enter on a strong bearish candle closure on 3 minutes or 5 minutes, and exit, go to the next support or resistance zone, which is kind of what these 4-hour zones are. Okay, so yeah, that's kind of what I want to be following my system. There are so many ways to trade, and I find myself wanting to trade all things, which is just not what a 7-figure person does. I think a 7-figure trader has a system. They show up to execute every day. They don't, deviate from that, and they just keep going. So in terms of this trade here now that I've shared what my theme is, what my steps are, price was below the VWAP. So technically I wasn't looking for buys. I should be looking for sells. And so yes, when price came up to this VWAP that acted a little bit as resistance, as you see, I entered into this 5-minute candle closure, which wasn't bad. And it was also at a 4-hour zone. So right, price could have come up and flipped. So that wasn't a bad trade. However, price just really wanted to go up. And so I lost that trade. I actually broke even. I got out after seeing the volatility. I was like, oh no. And something I will say is I got out here as well a little bit early because, so I got out here because of their support I got out here wanting to get out here. Yes, now I remember. Poor R&R. So I probably shouldn't have taken this trade in the first place. I wanted my take profit to be this zone. Price went all the way up, kicked me out to come back down. This was a bad trade overall because I already was at this zone. I needed to be patient to see what was going to happen. Then your girl actually took this trade here, and just look at this. It was already, I think I entered here, which was not a very good trade. I think I saw this and I was like, well, okay, it looks like we're pushing further down. Let me just take that. Again, we're at a 4-hour zone, a support zone. I should not have been anticipating sales. So I didn't really use these zones properly as I should. Usually a 4-hour support zone will most likely trigger buys. So that's what it did. It went up. I didn't take this buy trade because it was below the VWAP, and my goal is to just stick to my roles. Not every trade is for me. I took this trade here going down because I saw a strong candle 5-minute closure, and price just wanted to keep going up. Something probably I should do is I probably should have waited for a candle closure below that, but no. I mean, I'm glad I took the trade. That was per my rules. It was also at a zone here that price seemed to be rejecting. Price just wanted to continue going up, and sometimes it's just like that. I did break even here after kind of seeing push up here. I also was wary because I really did think price was going to continue going up because we were closer to the, previous day low and stuff like that. So I did have a feeling that price was just going to keep going up for some reason. So I was already antsy about this trade. I was just not very confident about my trades. Like this R&R was terrible. This, I was like, what is going on? Yeah, all this indecision, just ugh, that is not what a seven figure trader does. So I want to be decisive with my trades and have clear reasons for why I take a trade and why I exit a trade and why I enter a trade, all of that. Okay. And I have little notes for myself, like what happened. Next trade. So we have just recapping for myself. This trade here shouldn't have taken it. It was a poor R&R, risk reward ratio. Okay. I shouldn't have taken that trade because it was so weaky. I was near a support zone. This trade, I should have just waited again for to see how price was going to react. I got out because of the resistance. And again, just looking at this, at the formation here, it just looks like price wanted to continue to go up. So when we're near support zones or resistance zones, we need to be patient to see how price really wants to react to those areas, especially higher time frame zones. Okay. Now this buy here, I feel tempted. I would have probably taken that because I saw that it was going from this zone to this zone and closer to the VWAP. That's not my trade. If it's below the VWAP, we're looking for buys. So that wasn't my trade. I didn't take it, but I was tempted to. This trade here, I did actually take because it rejected off my support zone or resistance zone or this zone here off the VWAP. It seemed like it was a strong 5-minute bearish candle. And this trade ended up losing, but that would probably, of all the trades that I should have taken, that was the trade. If anything, I could have taken this trade here earlier in the day that happened at 9:25 pre-market because we were literally at the top. This was actually the ideal trade, but I was nervous to take it because it was close to market open and I wasn't sure how that was going to work. But now looking at it, this was the one that had everything. It was below the VWAP. It was at a resistance zone. It was the trade that I should have taken. Now we come back. It is what time? It's 12:45. I've been looking at this charts from 9:30 to 12. At this point, I think a 7-figure day trader would just be like, yo, my conditions aren't being met. We're so near the VWAP. Price is trying to figure itself out. I'm going to close this. But I was like really just hunting for a trade. When price came out of this, I was really wanting for it to come back down. There was a 15-minute FVG that was formed. I wanted it to come and retest and go up, but we have to consider time as well. It's lunchtime. Momentum is just not as strong anymore. It's lunchtime, people are taking a break. But I saw this 5-minute candle closure here at this resistance, and I was like, oh, look, we're making lower highs. Yes, higher lows, like that, higher lows. So I entered here I was hoping to get a one-to-one. Price actually did come close. Actually, no, it did win. Yeah, we did get a one-to-one, but your girl got scared. I got in and I kept getting out, kept getting in, kept getting out. I remember that trade. It was terrible. I was just kind of like scared to actually execute because I didn't want to be trading after 12 p.m. and I did trade anyways. So I was breaking a rule already and I was just like, that's not good. So this trade was after 12 p.m., not enough momentum to keep going. And as you can see here, the VWAP is just so confused. It's like, what is going on? Then we have this trade here that I didn't take that. Let's go to Asia session now. Asia session started. And looking at the VWAP here, right, we see price has come all the way up. So I'm thinking buys. Price came a little bit below, made a doji, which oftentimes kind of triggers reversal. And I saw this 5-minute candle closure and I'm like, okay, we're going up. We're going to go back to this 5-minute VWAP and continue going up. That is so not what it did. I don't even know if I'll call it an impulsive trade, but I remember seeing this and I was like, okay, great. Yeah, this is cool. We're really at the VWAP. It closed above that VWAP. That's a strong candle closure. We can all look at that and say that's a strong 5-minute candle closure. I'm thinking we're going up. Nope. Price, we're at the zone again. I'm just noticing I have to really be paying attention to the zones. yes, price did do this, but you see how price is hesitating here? This zone is still doing what it's supposed to do. It's actually either support and resistance, depending on what price is trying to do. Price broke through it and then came back up, and it actually acted as resistance versus support. So I also probably should have waited for a little bit more confirmation just to see what price was doing around this VWAP. It made another doji, and then it had this candle closure that actually went down. So this could have been a trade going down to this man zone, or sorry, to this order block that, and essentially that's what it did. It did. It went all the way to the order block, kind of resisted, came back down. This became a resistance, and it came all the way down. Like these zones are actually pretty good. I'm proud of myself for drawing them correctly, but I'm not using them correctly. So I should have waited for a bit more confirmation as we were near a zone. I'm like, if anything, I should have waited for price to come out of this and then hit and then go up, right? Versus seeing this we're near a zone and I just entered. Like, girl, no, wait, because these zones carry weight and they tell you a little bit more. The VWAP is there to help kind of understand direction and things like that. But these zones, I have to look at it and see how is price reacting around them. So right now we just looking at just where we're at, we made $100 New York session and we lost a bit of, I lost $300 from that trade I took. I took another trade, that trade that I actually didn't show you that trade. Yes, so I took this trade, lost $300, $373. Took this trade, made a little bit more back, made some back. So yeah, we don't, my goal here for this next session, New York session, is just literally look for my setup. So something like this, we're at resistance zone below VWAP. This is kind of what I'm looking for. Or something like this, where we're above VWAP at this point. Now, granted, this was a huge. I didn't see this. Like potentially, this is above the VWAP. We have this. If I entered here, we can probably have taken that up. We have this candle closure above. We've already came up, is retested this area, and probably entered here, on a smaller time frame. Probably I might have been able to get an entry on a smaller time frame. Yeah, possibly. I don't know. Here, if we entered here, let's say we entered right here as price was just kind of doing its thing. We may have missed it. We probably would have entered here, and then I probably would have thinking it was going to go all the way up for it to come all the way down. I don't know. But something like this, where price comes out, retests zone, and goes up. Okay. It's good to see kind of what am I looking for. Either way, that is what we did. And yeah, we're going to do better this time. Recapping for myself. We are trading one system. We are looking for strong entry candle confirmations around our key levels and zones in relation to the VWAP. So above VWAP, we're looking for buys. Below VWAP, we're looking for sells. And we are also looking at what's happening around our key levels, making sure not to impulsively just enter a trade because we just see a strong candle closure. We also need to take into effect the environment that the trade is in. So we'll start there, and yeah, we'll keep going.